Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Amanda here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Would love for you to become part of the family. Hit that subscribe button, and of course my social links are also posted up right below. But I want to get into the purpose of this video and why I'm filming it. So a lot of you know just from following along that I'm now in this new place, and with that being said, there comes a lot of new responsibilities, especially financial ones. And of course, because now you're spending money on groceries, on utilities you never were before, on your car, of course, the place as a whole, and then everything else that life has to offer. So I wanted to do this video introducing you to the world of money, some tips and tricks that I've been using to be a bit more money cognizant. Because in the first few months, of course, because I had those haul videos out, you saw I was spending a lot of money. And that's okay because I was building my home, but at the same time, now I'm in the point where I am totally comfortable. I have everything that I need here. And I totally want to do this. Me and one of my best friends, Monica, bought me this as a housewarming gift. And it says, act like a lady, think like a boss. So that brought me to making a boss-like adulting video for you. And I'm really excited that you're here. So let's get into it. Steps and mindsets that I have started to employ myself, because I now am changing my mindset to, okay, I want to really build this home and build this space, to now I'm ready to hunker down and save so that I can buy a home in the future. So one of the first things that I definitely suggest you doing is basically making a list of those essentials and the needs. The essentials are, of course, things like rent, your car, and even if you're in high school or college and university and you don't necessarily have rent payments yet or anything like that, it could be anything from grocery list, utilities, your rent, of course, and all of those other things that really come along with just entering the world of adulthood. And essentials should be around that 50% amount of what you make. So along with that first list of making essentials, the payments that you absolutely have to make no matter what along your month, another one is definitely taking a whole stock of how much money you make. Now this is tough for me actually, because currently where I work, I'm on call, but I usually do get around part-time, full-time hours. I freelance. I also work another job during the fall, the winter, and the early spring. So to take a full stock of what I'm making is actually kind of difficult. But at the same time, if this is you too, you kind of can get an idea of where you're at. So take that lump sum, put it aside on a piece of paper, write everything down, and then you can really start to get to the nitty-gritty of how much you're spending, and if it is around that normal amount of around 50% of essentials, because the other 50% is going to be allotted to something totally different. As soon as you take a stock of your essentials, what you can start doing is becoming a little bit more creative. So by this, I mean, can you carpool? Can you do things like becoming more mindful about turning the lights off? Or, you know, putting on a sweater if it's cold and not doing the utilities thing. And carpooling obviously saves you money on gas. So being creative within all of those things, like even if you have a phone plan and it kind of never bothered you before, you could maybe look for a better phone plan, one that's a little bit cheaper. So taking stock of those essentials and then making sure that they are as efficient as possible is definitely a good place to start. When it comes to mindset and money, one of the things that actually was a very interesting point by a fellow blogger, Lavendier, she made a point of saying about mindset, money is not an evil thing. And when you're blogging too and you're first getting started, I think one of the things you're concerned about is selling out, right? You don't want to sell out your brand for something that you don't actually love. But at the same time, art and money can go together and they can be appreciated in a synchronous way. And just because you're making money for your art doesn't necessarily downgrade it or mean that you're selling out at all. So changing your mindset and knowing that, you know what, money is good. It's the currency that makes our world go round, and it's the way that our society works and functions. It's okay to want to make money. One thing that can really make sure that you don't get in the rough is automatic bill payments. So making sure that your internet, your Wi-Fi, your utilities, those are automatically going to come out, including your insurance. And then you already have made a stock of how much that's going to be. So you're never going to be in the red or be really nervous about making those payments or carry any anxiety with that, because you know that it's automatically going to get paid. So I mean, making automatic bill payments is a really good way of keeping track and making sure that you're keeping on schedule with all of your bills. This is something that I have been doing since I think I was in late high school, and I figured out that it's something that you could do. I have probably around 12 different bank accounts. Now, all within the same bank. I bank at 2 banks, so I make sure I put my savings somewhere else so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, which is really helpful. That's kind of like a bonus extra. But at the bank that I do my banking at, I have around, 12 bank accounts, a tax-free savings account, a normal checking account, and around 10 savings accounts. And I know this probably sounds crazy to you. Girl, why do you have that many accounts? And I'll explain. I have one labeled Christmas, vacation, car payments, new house, rent, things like that. So literally every paycheck I get, I'll put $10 or $20 in, and then when Christmas time rolls around, I have a lump sum and a budget already created. So if you can actually get paid, and this is a funny thing actually, it feels so good to separate my payment out into those different bank accounts, because I feel like I'm paying myself and then already spending the money, and then it is done. And then when you end up needing it, you can actually take it out. I got this idea because the woman that I usually would see at the bank says that when her niece and nephew come over, she has a bank account for them. So every time she gets paid, she puts a little bit of money in there. And then when they come over, she knows that she can be the coolest aunt ever and go and do fun things because she already has money set aside to do those things. And it's not like it's coming out of her checking account and she hasn't accounted for it. So that being said, saving up money for a vacation and even having a little lump sum, maybe you don't have the full vacation paid off from that savings account, but just saving it slowly, you'll be surprised how quickly things accumulate. And then just knowing that you have a couple of extra $100 to spend at Christmas, you may only need to spend that. And then when that time comes around, most stressful time of year for a lot of people, it's no worries because you've already got it covered. And then when you get paid overtime, girl, that gift's gonna be for you. Having savings accounts is one of those things that's really important, because at the end of the day, if you can save towards your goals and save around 10 or 20% of your paycheck every single time you get paid, you're gonna thank yourself later. And the more that you can save, the more you're going to be able to perpetuate yourself further in life sooner. And the only way to basically have more money is either to save more money or make more money. So if you can't exactly make more money because you're at school and you only have one job at the time and your job really is to get the most out of school, then it's gonna be save more money, making some sacrifices, but knowing the huge return at the end of the day. That's going to be a mindset that you're gonna need to change just a little bit so that you can really perpetuate yourself again further in life. And trust me, you're going to thank yourself if you do create those savings accounts. Now, it's not always about having that payment for all the things that you need to, those essentials and the savings account. I know that also investing is a huge part, but I am not going to get into that. That is not my shtick, and I'm going to let the professionals get into that. But if that is another tip that you believe in, I mean, maybe you have some investing tips that you can leave in the comments below. I'm gonna leave that one to the professionals. I am someone who has really been starting to believe in the law of attraction. I think that the energy that we put out in the world and the energy that we think that we should accept from the world is really what we get at the end of the day. And if you walk around every single day saying, I'm broke, I'm poor, I can't afford this, I can't do that, and that's the only energy that you put out to the world, well, you're not really changing your mindset. We almost have to be appreciative of what we have in the now, and then also just realize that, you know what you have now, you're watching this video on a computer, that's something that you own or something that you have access to. It's not going to change unless you change it. So if you're constantly just walking around saying, you know what, I'm broke, I can't do anything about this, that's not true, because you can. So almost saying something like, I am rich, I have enough, I can do this, I am capable, I am aware of what I have and what I want to do to strive to get to where I want to be. That's a completely different mindset that's going to really push you forward towards your goals. And that's the next tip, setting goals. So there was the first, knowing and realizing that you are responsible and that you can change, but then setting the goals to get to where you want to be. What does your dream life look like? What does it have in it? What would you like to have at the end of the day when it comes to building that life? Setting those goals is going to help you basically take a step-by-step towards those things. And I have heard of this process where you write yourself a check at the end of the month and say, I want to make this much money this year, and you're basically projecting this onto the universe. Now, it's going to be different. I would love to make a check writing to myself saying, I'm going to make $1 million by the end of this month, but that's not realistic. But actually making a goal, and as well, just basically setting that goal to an amount when it comes to making money and saving money, it's going to make you want to reach that goal and that endpoint versus just aimlessly walking through life, spending money, saving some, and just not knowing where you're at. Another thing is, if you are going to go shopping, know what you're going for. One of the things that frustrates me about myself is if I ever go shopping and I'm just, wasting time or just wanting to dander around the mall, that's fine sometimes. But I find that in scenarios like that, I will go into a shop and not necessarily find something that I love, but I will try to find the thing I like the most. Which, if that is making sense to you, instead of finding something and being like, oh my gosh, I love this, I can't let this go, if this is gone, I'm gonna be really thinking about this all the time. I'll go in and be like, oh yeah, I like this, oh, I kind of like this the best, so I'll get that. Because I went in aimless shopping. There was no directive to why I was going in there. So when you're going shopping, definitely have a list and as well have a directive. A cool way to save money and also do it in a positive way, I've heard this one before as an example, is say you're looking to save money for a new workout outfit. Well, what if every single time you worked out, you earned $5 towards that new workout outfit? That's an incredible positive feedback loop, because not only did you work towards getting healthy, you also allocated money for yourself, to yourself, and you feel like you earned something at the end of the day. And then after doing a certain amount of workouts, you have now built enough money to positively feed back into that activity, and as well, a little bit of a reward at the end of the day. And you save money doing it towards that product versus just going into the store and spending the money without knowing that you earned it for that reason. So the next thing is to get clear with your money and just take it head on. Look at where you're at. Go into your bank account app as much as you can, or as much as you think that it's necessary to really snap you into reality with where you're at and where you would like to be. Use apps that are inherent to your banking system. I know that a lot of banks here in Canada have apps that track your spending as well on the side, and it basically filters it into needs, wants, transportation, groceries, or dining out, whatever it is, shopping as well, and then other expenses. Those are going to help you put into perspective where you're at and what you're spending. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to other things besides those things that you necessarily need, those necessities, those essentials, and then as well your saving habits, which is where you should kind of hope to be on track with the money that you're not using as an essential, it comes down to wants. We all want to spend money on things. Of course we do. I mean, that's the fun in life. You want to grow up, but you don't want to grow old, right? You want to be able to have that freedom, but 30% or less should be spent on that. So when it comes down to it, after you've created that budget, you've looked at your essentials, how much you make, you've broken it down, after spending that money on your essentials, then you can take some out for saving, you're gonna look at what's left, right? And what's left is going to give you that freedom. But are you bad at spending the amount what's left? This is a new tactic I have recently taken into account And instead of just doing whatever I want, online shopping, dining out more, buying Starbucks all the time, because honey, you've heard this a million times. If you just make a tea or a coffee at home, you're gonna save so much money. What I will do is I will take out a certain amount of money that I know that I have for the month or every 2 weeks, because I usually get paid every 2 weeks at the job that I'm currently at. I'll take that out in cash. And then when that's gone, there's no more dining out, there's no more shopping, I avoid online shopping, I've unsubscribed from all of those emails that basically say, oh, come shop with me, this is 30% off, 40% off, 70% off, because that's going to be just a temptation. I'll avoid going to the mall after that money is through. So that's been a good one, because there's actually a physiological sense where if you get rid of money, it actually evokes some of the same hormones that pain does, because you were giving up this thing that you worked for. So that's going to make sure that you're spending it in the right way, on the right thing, and for something that you really want. I hope that a couple of these mindset tricks, as well as a couple of these tips, have made you think about starting to get on track. I am certainly starting to get on track, and writing everything down and keeping receipts and using those apps has really, really helped me. And now I'm really starting to do that saving part of my journey. So I really hope to do a couple of these videos again in the future about where I'm at and increase tips on adulting when it comes to money. I'm sending you guys so much love and positivity. Hit that subscribe button if you like this video and you want to see some of the future ones. I have a lot coming up very soon. I'm so glad to have you here. You are you. That is your power. You got this, because you are, oh, I threw it over there. You are a lady and a boss at the same time. We'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.